I have huge respect for innovation. It's what makes today's bikes so gosh darn good. And it's super interesting, and straight up, it drives capitalism. And in the case of these Outlier pedals, 2 of those 3 statements are definitely true.
Like many of you, I watched a couple of videos about these pedals and thought, whoa, there's a really cool idea. So I bought these myself, and that in itself wasn't easy. I had to get on a pre-order list for a full 300 Canadian loonies, which is still $214 US. I placed my order July 28, and on August 22nd, I got the heads up that the pedals had shipped. I've been riding these pedals for about 3 weeks now, and I will be removing them from any mountain bike use very soon here. I've spent the last 6 years riding flat pedals maybe 90% of the time. I still dabble with clip-ins, but before this, I was on clip pedals a good 95% of the time. But after my 3rd pelvic fracture, I decided I needed to change something. Since I couldn't go as fast with flat pedals as I could with clips, I realized if I were to take some tumbles, well, that going a little bit slower would only be safer. I'm still a better rider with clip pedals, but at this point, I feel proficient with flats. I've ridden over a dozen different kinds of flat pedals, so I've got a pretty good understanding of today's flat pedal market. Full disclosure, I don't have any bike sponsors. I sell a couple of ad reads here on YouTube to a handful of companies, including Element, Endura, Jensen USA, Formula 100, and a handful of other companies. Now, with that said, I'm not sponsored by any specific pedal company. I have received a bunch of pedals at no charge. I've bought pedals at discounted pricing from Jensen USA, and I did pay full price for these. That said, I've got over a dozen pedals here, and at this point, I don't know where each one came from, what I paid for each one, and I could really care less. In the past, I have been sponsored by Shimano, but that is not currently active. The point of this video is not to sell product or anything like that. It's just to be transparent about an experience I had.
I have several likes of the Outlier pedals. They are extremely grippy. I didn't really slip pedals when I was using these things. Next up, they're very cool. Like, there's nothing else like these. I really appreciate how these guys thought outside of the box by building a box in a way with these pedals. That's pretty cool. But aside from those 2 things, well, that's where my likes end. So I know my take on these pedals might not be quite as excited as some other people's take. And because of that, I don't want to throw any kind of weird industry relations in here. Luckily, my friends over at Drink Element, spelled LMNT, were game to sponsor this video. Huge thanks to Element. I've been using this stuff for a few years now. It's a simple electrolyte supplement, and I found with one of these in my water bottle, even just a regular bottle like this, I can usually do a solid 2-hour ride without worrying about more hydration. When you're out riding and sweating out your electrolytes, it's critical to replenish those before you start getting dehydrated and experiencing brain fade, fogginess, blurred vision, any of those terrible side effects of dehydration. For a limited time now, using the link in my description below, drinkelement.com/Jeff, J-E-F-F, you can get a free sample pack of Element's top 4 selling drink mix pouches. Today I'm drinking raspberry salt, and it's one of my favorites. All right, huge thanks to Element, and if you've tried this stuff, let me know in the comments what your favorite flavor is. Let's make a bottle and get back on these pedals. Stay salty, everyone. I needed that. And now for the dislikes. My biggest dislike of the Outlier pedals would be riding with them. First up, I would slip pedals or take a foot off to have a foot hanging out for a sketchy corner, and the pedal would spin. And when I put my foot back on, like probably 30% of the time, it would go on like this, onto the wrong side of the pedal. Often I would catch the spiky side, but it was not often enough that I could rely on it. So I found this one-sided nature of the pedal to be distracting, the opposite of confidence inspiring. I don't even know a single word for the opposite of confidence inspiring. But when I was riding sketchy stuff with these pedals, if I had to take a foot off, it was downright terrifying.
Caught my pedal the right way. That's lucky. Okay, I put my foot out and I caught the right side of the pedal right there. That was great. It's just that's not guaranteed, and that's the problem.
Next up, what I really don't like about these pedals is how low they hang to the ground when you're pedaling. I have had more pedal strikes with these pedals than I have ever had with anything else.
One of our more technical, I just hit the ground. Yeah, I hit my foot on the ground right back there. I just hit my foot again on the ground. Oh, I just hit the ground. Oh, second pedal strike. So e-biking is where these pedals really don't shine, because you're trying to pedal through junk like this. And that's where they're most likely to hit things. I need all the clearance I can get, not less clearance.
Today's bikes have incredibly long wheelbases, but the bottom bracket heights are almost the same as they've been for the last 10 years. The result is the breakover angle is lower than ever. So yeah, I only rode these pedals for like 2 weeks, and there are so many gouges and scratches. I think the left one even has more than the right does. I'll use the big camera to show some close-ups of how mangled these are in just a few weeks. And when you hit the ground with these, it can knock you offline, it's distracting, and it is the opposite of fun and safe and smooth. So yeah, huge detriment to your riding experience. My next serious dislike with these pedals is how incredibly narrow they are. So I have small feet. I have little size 42 Europe, 8.5 US feet. My 5'10" impact boots, I'm riding in a size 9. And then when these things are on these pedals, my little size 9 shoe like hangs off the outside edge. Most of that's because the bearing on the inside is so incredibly wide. Can I show you guys with this little camera? Yeah. Let's compare that. I just grabbed a set of P&W Loams for comparison. I actually ruined these pedals by catching them on a rock, and the other spindle is totally broken. See on these guys how much space I have. Like, these cover my shoe left to right the whole way. So I get a much bigger platform to put my foot on with these, which in turn I found more comfortable and more confidence inspiring. A big selling point to the Outlier pedals is incredible grip. Yes, they do have that. I slip pedals. It's generally when I'm trying to pedal my bicycle through something chunky, rooty, rocky, whatever. But generally, I'll slip a forwards foot on the downstroke when my rear wheel is getting hung up in things.
Oh, I slipped a pedal.
A lot of people don't understand flat pedal riding technique. They get one thing correct. I got these fun examples here. So, a few years ago, I made a set of plywood pedals
To get any traction forwards or backwards on these pedals.
0 pins, 0 grip, 0 concavity. And with these pedals, I could actually mountain bike like half decently with these pedals. I could hit dirt jumps, pump tracks, I could bunny hop with them. And I learned something from this pedal experiment. So when you're riding flat pedals, you drop your forward heel, but then your rear heel has to lift. This creates a wedge that wedges you into the bicycle, into the flat pedals. And once you're aware of how this technique works, of lifting your rear heel but dropping your front heel, once you understand this, you're gonna have a lot better grip on your pedals. And then the pins help a ton in those situations of just vibration and bumps. And then the other big thing when pins are essential is when it's wet out. Thank God it wasn't raining when I tried to ride these. I even rode these barefoot for a minute, which worked pretty well, but not recommended at home. Don't be like me.
Oh, I bottom out so hard.
These are gonna find a permanent home on my Townie bike because they are incredibly cool. And I appreciate all the comments asking for a review. And I try to give everything the benefit of the doubt and try to find the right way to use things because I really believe in mountain biking and all that. But these pedals were probably the biggest disappointment for me personally of a product I've spent my own money on in quite a while. So I wanted to come clean with you all that there's some cool things about them, but that they're not a game changer like folks were thinking in the comments. So yeah, if you were curious about Outlier pedals, check out their other model that doesn't have this dumb dropped and one-sided build. I think it would be a lot better for mountain biking. And I'm gonna look really cool at the coffee shop with these on my bike, getting my decaf latte. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. If you enjoy my videos, every month I do a riding tutorial over on Patreon, and I never post those public. There's a couple that I've leaked out just to show you what they're all about. Last month we did how to wall ride. I've done some how to corner ones recently. We've got how to manual, how to wheelie. There's over 50 Patreon tutorials available only on that website. You can see a list of about 30 of them down below. Yeah, please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the comments, and peace and wheelies, everyone.
It works so good. That's such a cool line.